the biggest roadblock, if you think about those 5 sentences, I did it, I'm sorry, forgive me, I'll make up for it, I'll never do it again. The biggest roadblock is the first one. That I think most people don't go to confession because they don't want to bring out into the open a shameful part of their lives. They would rather keep it hidden. And so, in my experience, the act of self-accusation is a huge growth area in our spiritual lives. When we're finally able to realize that the peace and the freedom that the Lord wants for me only comes when I'm willing to reveal what I would rather keep hidden.
I hear this, and I'm going to just mention something here. I find that when I rephrase things for people who are very frightened to go to confession or haven't been for many, many years, and they don't think there's anything wrong with that. In fact, I hear over and over, well, I haven't murdered anyone, ha, ha, ha. And it's like, I know. And underlying that could be a deep fear. And so what I tell them is, I try to steer away from words that, for the very frightened, I think this is important. I think that the word accuse, I think about that word, and I think of Jesus being accused and a death sentence coming. Accusation it's very real, but I try to tell people, speak the action that you have done. And this is where you will receive freedom from being liberated from this. I mean, you will be liberated by the speaking of this word. And I'll give you a background on this. When I used to go to confession, my examination, as I said before, was a little exasperating because I would sweat and strain over these things. And I would say, did I really do it or did I not do it? Can I go to communion? Can I not go to communion? So I was suffering from kind of scruples that I wish, I finally did get a priest who was just able to release me from that place that I had been wrongfully educated about. It was like a wrong conscience. I was taught to a wrong conscience, but I was able to maintain a balance that was much more healthy. And so I can kind of recognize in people not so much a scrupulosity, but a fear. And so when I say speaking the word, speaking the action, I can tell them a story about, and I might have mentioned this before on this show, but a young woman who wrote a story in English class, and she said, she was a convert, and she said, she just talked about, I stood in line for confession. There was no need for me to examine my conscience. I knew what I had done. And the freedom flowing to me from those words was, there was no false guilt. There was no shame. There was this realization, I have done something and I am going to tell the priest and I'm going to receive the gift of absolution. And I could call that self-accusation, and to an untainted soul, that should be fine. But to the fearful soul, or the one who has perhaps been given an education in shame or false guilt, I'll just say, rather, let's speak the words, speak the action that you have done, and don't be afraid. The priest has heard everything. This is his bread and butter. He is not shocked at you, ever. You cannot shock a priest. I don't know. Does that have any?
I love that, Sister Mary Eucharista. I love that. I think I'm a bit more of the philosopher theologian, and I like the traditional language. And I hadn't pondered, honestly, take away the word self, and you just left with the word accusation, because in social media, in politics, in wider culture, when people say you're accused of something, that does carry tons of negative connotations. And so I hadn't focused on those meanings of accusation. I focused more on the concept of self-accusation is the opposite of self-defense. Like, I'm not going to defend my actions. I'm not going to rationalize my behavior. I'm going to simply accuse myself. In other words, I'm going to bring out into the open what I'd rather keep hidden. I'm going to reveal what I'd rather have remain unknown. And so maybe it's that language: come out into the open, reveal, come out of hiding, bring out of hiding. That will peel away or minimize the negative connotations associated with the concept of self-accusation.